From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, nearly 30 years after June 12 annulment, MKO Abiola's son seek mandate to rule Nigeria. PDP joins Emefiele's suit as President Buhari orders political appointees contesting elections to resign. Female student beaten, burned to death in Sokoto for blasphemy. Away from Nigeria, leaders commit to more action-oriented partnership at EU-Japan summit. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. The eldest son of the acclaimed winner of the 1993 presidential election, Moshood Abiola Kola, has joined the 2023 race for the presidency. Kola Abiola, who is running on the platform of the People's Redemption Party, says he is committed to returning governance to the people. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that the aspirant was at the PRP's National Secretariat on Thursday to pick his nomination form.
30 years after his father tried unsuccessfully to become president of Nigeria, Kola Abiola is throwing his heart in the ring. And why is he doing so? He believes leadership must have a human face to deliver the goods to the people, and this has been missing all along. All this is about to change because his party, the People's Redemption Party, PRP, believes the citizens of Nigeria constitute the fulcrum of any democratic governance.
I have the interests of Nigeria at heart. I'm sentimentally, emotionally charged by Nigeria. The way and method in which things are going in Nigeria, I'm afraid that if somebody who's not symbolic enough and seen as a Nigerian and can hold it together, we have a problem if we don't start making that difference now. That's number one. Number two, it's symbolic enough that we had the best election in Nigeria 29 years ago. And with the new swearing-in date of June 12, 2023, it'll be a full 30 years of that election. And I think it's significant enough as a way to begin to build the rehabilitation and the healing of Nigeria.
But how will the PRP be able to navigate through a highly monetized electoral environment? Kola Abiola says it must start with the people, who must take their civic responsibilities seriously and elect credible and responsible leaders with the capacity to turn things around.
We want people to come out and get their PVCs and exercise those PVCs for their votes. We have the mandate. If you have the mandate, we will do and have the strength to go ahead and do the right things. And with that, if we're accountable, you can be sure we are going to be working for the voter. That's the biggest difference. Many of them do not go and count on the voter. They just get voted. They know their means of doing that. And because of that, they're not accountable to the voter. They don't feel any responsibility to the voter. But this time around, we will change that.
National Secretary of the party, Babatunde Ali, recalled how the PRP, which is one of the oldest political parties in Nigeria, produced Nigeria's ever finest leaders.
The late Malam Balarabe, may God forgive any earthly sin of his, and may God continue to bless his memory. Stayed in office for just 18 months, and there is not a singular local government in Kaduna State, the old Kaduna State, that did not register the presence of an industry. Whether you call it cottage, medium, or whatever. In agriculture, in everything, he hits the land like a wounded lion, removing people from trouble and snatching them out of poverty.
Though the party was deregistered by INEC after the 2019 election, it is now coming back to life, hoping to give the major political parties a run for their money. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Former Senate President Bukola Saraki says it's time to stop the blame game and fix the challenges undermining Nigeria. Senator Saraki spoke on Thursday in Abuja about his 2023 presidential aspiration. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman again reports.
Former Senate President Bukola Saraki only just stepped down from being number 3 citizen a little over 3 years ago. The problems besetting the country were already in play then, so he does not attempt to blame government for the country's troubles. But he is seeking to become president of Nigeria to fix those woes and a party that is in opposition to the ruling party under which he was elected as Senate president.
As long as there is the child in Nigeria that cannot read or write, then the job is not done. And it is for this one child that I will run for president, because I will ensure that the law on compulsory basic education is enforced and the quality of teaching improves in all public schools.
The former Senate president believes that those in government should stop the lamentation and backpassing to aggressively deal with identified challenges plaguing the nation.
As long as there's one old woman in this country who cannot afford her prescription drugs for diabetes or malaria because she has no insurance cover, the job is not done. And it's for this woman that I will ensure people like her are covered and are able to buy their own drugs and get insurance cover.
Senator Saraki, who was two-term governor of Kwara State, Senate President in the 8th Assembly, was also at some point chairman Nigeria's Governors Forum. He believes he has the capacity and competence to steer the affairs of the largest economy in Africa, rich in diversity with a population of over 200 million. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In a similar vein, frontline presidential aspirant of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar on Thursday visited former military President Ibrahim Babangida in Minna, the Niger State capital. The visit was part of the former VP's consultation ahead of the presidential primary election of the party. Atiku, who was accompanied by some of his loyal supporters, solicited the support of the former head of state as well as delegates in the state to enable him clinch the party's ticket. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed members of the Federal Executive Council, heads of extra ministerial departments, agencies and parastatals of government, ambassadors and other political appointees to resign. He said that those who have intention to contest the 2023 elections are to resign before Monday, May 16. The directive was contained in a circular signed by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, on Thursday. The circular directed ministers to hand over to their ministers of state or their permanent secretaries where there is no minister of state, while ambassadors are expected to hand over to their deputy heads of mission or most senior staff. It added that heads of extra-ministerial departments, agencies, and parastatals of government are to hand over to the most senior director or officer as may be peculiar to the organization and in line with the service-wide circular. Among those copied in the circular is the CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, who has been under pressure to resign after being linked with nursing a presidential ambition. Justice Ahmed Mohammed of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has said that he has adjourned till May 23rd, 2022, the suit on the eligibility of the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, to join the 2023 presidential race. This follows the involvement of a third and fourth defendant, the opposition party, PDP, and a civil society organization, Save Nigeria, who both joined INEC and the Attorney General of the Federation to challenge Emefiele's eligibility to contest while still serving as CBN Governor. Emefiele had, through his counsel, Chief Mike Ezekume, SAN, applied for an order restraining INEC and AGF from asking the CBN Governor to resign until 30 days to the general election. Maradia Umar reports.
After the court sitting, Mike Ezekume, senior advocate of Nigeria, who was the counsel to the CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, speaks on the sordid involvement of the PDP and Save Nigeria as the third and fourth defendants.
I deliberately didn't oppose the application. One, when we filed this matter, we did not then know, nor was I briefed, as to which party Godwin Emefiele would be defecting to. And I know that up to now he has not told any Nigerians. So it is still based on speculations, social media speculations and all that. So I was very creative and careful in my drafting by saying any political party, So it would have been a contradiction in terms that PDP now wanted to join. Then I would say no. They are not a necessary party, because I've not said I have any grounds against them. But in law, using the case of Green versus Green, they are an interested party. Can I shut them out? Whatever comes to Emefiele will definitely affect them. So I refuse to oppose their joining. I say, my lord, join them.
Counsel to the PDP, Remi Olatubora, also speaks on their involvement in the suit.
Well, the PDP applied to be joined. We represented them, and the court joined them. They joined the PDP as a political party, since it's also going to feature a presidential candidate. So it has interest. The matter has been adjourned to 23rd of May for hearing, adoption of all addresses, and the court also gave orders that we should file within specified timelines. So we are ready to abide.
The defendants and plaintiff will appear in court on the 23rd of May for ruling on the matter. Martia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, the leadership of the Ohanaeze Ndigbo worldwide has threatened that Southeast will boycott voting in the forthcoming general elections in 2023 if the ruling All Progressive Congress and the leading opposition party, People's Democratic Party, fail to zone their presidential ticket to the Southeast. The group noted that it will mobilize the zone to use the option of the usual sit-at-home order to boycott the election. The factional Secretary General of Ohanaeze Ndigbo Worldwide, Mazi Ikechukwu, made this known in a statement on Thursday. Mazi further alleged that the appointment of the former Senate President David Mark as the chairman of PDP convention primaries was to rig the election against the Southeast contestants. He maintained that the PDP has exhibited acts of not being fair to the zone, stressing that the zone has supported the party for 22 years. National leader of the All Progressives Congress and former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, has expressed confidence that he will clinch the party's presidential ticket. Tinubu stated this while interacting with delegates of the party in Kaduna State as part of preparation for the primary election. The presidential hopeful noted that with support from the state, victory was sure for him. The host governor, Nasir El-Rufai, assured him of his support after consulting with national delegates, the former governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, former EFCC boss, Nuhu Ribadu, Senator James Abiodun Faleke, among others, were among members of Tinubu's entourage.
I want to seek your cooperation and say I'm running. I don't have legs without you being there. You are my leg, you are my wings, you are my wing to get me there. And I promise you, I will not let you down. They spent 16 years, they don't see the road. I know the road.
Everyone that matters in APC in Kaduna State is in this room, Your Excellency. These are the people that worked with us from 2013 to change the state government as well as deliver to President Buhari 1.1 million votes, which was the third highest in the country.
Staying with political matters, the endorsement of Kano State Deputy Governor Nasiru Gawuna to contest the 2023 governorship election by Governor Abdullahi Ganduje has divided the political class as well as residents in the state. Governor Ganduje had anointed his deputy and commissioner for local government, Sule Garu, to replace him as governor and deputy governor in Kano State. But the endorsement is drawing mixed reactions, with a school of thought saying it will ensure continuity in governance, while another school argues that the action will amount to an extension of tenure for Ganduje.
The endorsement is just like giving Ganduje another tenure. We are going to vote him out. He is just a deputy governor and part of the failure of the government. We are going to come out en masse to vote against him. I am happy the government endorsed his deputy because he is a very nice person. He hardly gets angry. We are going to vote him 100%. This is a good omen, considering the fact that it's better positioned to continue with the good programs the government has started.
This is the governor's choice, and the governor will not make a wrong choice for us. We thank God, and he is going to continue from where Ganduje stopped.
Honestly, the government knows the present hard times we are in, so they look into our problems, address them. There is need for radical reforms. It is God who gives power, no matter who is endorsed. Our prayer is God should choose the right one for us.
INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner in Zamfara State, Professor Saidu Baffa, has appealed to relevant stakeholders to sensitize eligible persons who have not registered to do so to enable them participate in the 2023 general election. Saidu made the appeal while briefing journalists in Gusau, the Zamfara State capital, on the sidelines of the ongoing continuous voters registration in the state. He hinted that 341,040 persons had registered online, while 69,815 had completed their online registration. The report.
The Independent National Electoral Commission in Zamfara State is calling on residents of the state from 18 years and above to leverage on the online and physical voters registration to enroll themselves in the voter registration ahead of the 2023 general election. The INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner, Professor Saidu Baffa, enjoined registrants to note that anyone who had registered online but has not completed the physical process of thumbprinting and capturing is expected to complete the process, otherwise he or she cannot participate in the forthcoming general election.
On voter registration, you are aware that CVR, that is continuous voter registration, has been going on since June 2021. That is 11 months ago. In the state office here and local government headquarters, from the beginning of April, that is when we entered the third voter.
He urged the political parties to notify the Commission in the state of their scheduled dates and venues of their party primaries in order for the Commission to monitor the process in line with the 1999 Constitution as amended and Electoral Act 2022.
That is the case. There are also other things here that can be taken. And even on the field, there are all the other points that can be captured and covered. So we typically challenge us to also register and your ID. And the same thing also during elections. We would make a special provision for that.
The Zamfara INEC revealed that no sensitive electoral materials were burned in the fire incident that razed the INEC office in Kaura Namoda local government area of the state recently, even though the entire building was substantially burned.
Nigerian students Wednesday besieged the National Secretariat of the All Progressive Congress APC, carrying placards protesting the purchase of multi-million naira forms by politicians in the face of lingering strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU. Trustee Shafiu Suleiman reports that the protesting students who presented a protest letter to the national leadership of the party also want the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to investigate the buyers.
Solidarity forever. Nigerian students under the auspices of the National Association of Nigerian Students are taken, protest to the National Secretariat of the ruling All Progressives Congress, having concerns with regards to their continuous stay at home while millions of naira are being coughed out by politicians to purchase forms running into billions of naira. Let's hear from the arrowhead of this protest what they have in terms of the message across the leadership of this country.
Okay, yes, we came here for three things. One is to submit a petition. Two is to tell the APC, that is the ruling party, that we are not happy for our continuous stay at home as regards to ASU strike when politicians are doffing out millions of naira to buy political forms.
But you're equally aware that the Nigerian government has issued, billions of naira, also running into around 400 billion naira or thereabout to the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, but yet they are yet to down tool. Are you also not concerned about that?
See, them doffing out money to ASU has not been made very open to us. All we know that the money was given to TED Fund for infrastructural development in campuses. That's all we know about that one.
So isn't that a move to
it is not yet enough. It's not yet enough, because if it's enough, by now we should be in our classrooms. So it's not yet enough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, this is the National Publicity Secretary of the National Association of Nigerian Students explaining why they are here at the National Secretariat of the APC with their placards demonstrating. They're asking the party to intervene, for continuous stay at home while millions of naira or billions of naira are being realized as a process of buying and purchasing of nomination forms for the 2023 general elections. From the National Secretariat of the APC, Shapil Suleiman, Trust TV News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has appealed to members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, to consider the plight of students and call off their ongoing strike. The president also urged students in Nigeria's public tertiary institutions to exercise patience as the government strives to address the nagging issues in the nation's university system within the ambit of the resources available. He made the appeal at the 19th National Productivity Day. Kehinde Amodu reports.
With the extension of the ongoing industrial action by ASU, speaking of productivity will be a paradox with a large percentage of Nigerian youths unproductive and redundant at home. And President Buhari will not let this opportunity pass to appeal to striking lecturers to return to the classrooms.
I want to use this opportunity to call on the Academic Staff Union and the universities to consider the plight of our students and call off the ongoing strike action. I have earlier directed the Chief of Staff, Honorable Ministers of Labor and Employment, Education, Finance, Budget and National Planning to immediately bring all parties to the negotiating table.
That appeal is double-edged.
I also call on our students to exercise patience as we try to address the nagging issues in our university system within the ambit of the scarce resources available to government.
But the ASU strike is not overshadowing the essence of this event, which is the conferment of National Productivity Order of Merit Award on 48 eminent Nigerians and organizations in both the public and private sectors for their high productivity, hard work, and excellence.
Mr. President, I want to congratulate all the recipients of the National Productivity Order of Merit Award today. It's a noble recognition which you want to bestow on them on behalf of their fatherland. I saw the list. A lot of the people, one or two or three are some I know, and there are people who have exemplified themselves in their calling.
Acknowledging the emergency situation in the country's educational system, government has reviewed the retirement age of teachers from 60 to 65 years, while years of service have now been moved from 35 to 40 years to encourage more graduates to join the teaching profession. In addition, The President has also approved the special salary scale for teachers in basic and secondary schools, including provisions for rural posting allowance, science teachers allowance, and peculiar allowance, while prioritizing timely promotion and prompt payment of salaries. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Coming up shortly. Downside of irrigation farming in Katsina. Details and more after the break. Join us again. Thanks for staying. Let's have a look at the top stories again. Nearly 30 years after June 12 annulment, MKO Abiola's son seeks mandate to rule Nigeria. PDP joins Emefiele's suit as President Buhari orders political appointees contesting elections to resign. Now, moving on, Taraba State Governor Darius Ishaku has expressed shock over the killing of 6 soldiers of the 93 Battalion Takum in an ambush by bandits during a military operation in Takum local government area of the state. He also expressed worry about the fate of the commanding officer of the battalion who was declared missing after the operation. Governor Ishaku said that the attack on civilians and police officers in Takum, which prompted the reaction of the soldiers from the 93 Battalion, had proved that the bandits had become even more desperate than ever to kill and maim innocent people. The governor, in a statement by his media aide, Bala Dang Abu, praised the gallantry of the soldiers led by the commanding officer of the battalion for reacting promptly to the distress calls, but regretted that the operation resulted in the unfortunate death of 6 military officers and the uncertainty over the whereabouts of the commanding officer. Meanwhile, the Senate has bemoaned the recent killings of over 40 persons, including soldiers, by terrorists in the southern part of Taraba State. This resolution followed a point of order by Senator Emmanuel Boacha. The report.
Citing Order 42 of the Senate Standing Orders 2022 as amended, Senator Kwacha drew the attention of the chamber to the incident of banditry and terrorism which occurred in southern Taraba during the Salah break. He noted that the attackers came on motorbikes and killed over 40 people, including soldiers mobilized to protect the community. The lawmaker condoled with the government and people of Taraba State and the military, describing it as one killing too many.
In the encounter, Mr. President, they hacked down about 6 military men yesterday in the night. As I speak, the CO of the 23 Battalion in Takum has not been found. It's largely believed in the community that he must have been killed among these bandits, or by these bandits, among the officers that he led to confront these bandits. So I'm saying this, that we should know that this thing is spreading across the length and breadth of this country.
The Senate President Hamid Lawa urged Nigerians to support the military by providing the needed motivation and information to enable them to tackle the problem of insecurity in the country.
On behalf of all of us here, I want to sympathize with your senatorial district for the attacks and the loss of life. And I also want to urge Nigerians to continue to support our armed forces because they are doing so much, even though we don't have enough for them. But I believe that the support of citizens for the armed forces will galvanize them and keep them motivated.
A minute silence was observed in honor of all those killed during the attack. In another development, President of the Senate Hamid Lawa has tasked the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) on fairness, justice, and equity as political parties move into the process of party primaries. Lawa gave the charge before adjourning the upper legislative chamber to the 7th of June 2022. He said the chamber was adjourning to enable senators to participate actively in the processes leading to the primaries. He urged aspirants across board to accept the outcome of the results, especially if the process is in line with the guidelines of the Electoral Act.
INEC has promised fairness. We are praying for INEC to achieve that fairness, equity, and justice. And of course, we must ensure that 2023 elections are peaceful, that the integrity must never be questioned. For those who will triumph, those who will win, we pray that when they win, they will be good winners. And for those that may not win as much, when they lose or not win as much, they should accept the process because we expect that the process will be fair and square.
President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday in Abuja signed into law 3 bills aimed at improving the anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing and proliferation financing framework in Nigeria. The bills are the Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Bill 2022, the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Bill 2022, and the Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Bill 2022. Speaking at the signing ceremony at the council chamber, the president described the bills as being in tandem with this administration's commitment to fight corruption and illicit financing activities, as well as critical to the governance agenda and the development of Nigeria. The president noted that the 9th National Assembly has proven to be patriotic, responsive, resourceful, and industrious in its legislative assignment, recalling that the 14th January 2022, he had sought expeditious passage of the bills.
In tandem with this administration's commitment to fight corruption and illicit financing activities, I am today assenting to 3 major items of legislation critical to our governance agenda and the development of Nigeria. A. Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Bill 2022. B. The Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Bill 2022, and C, the Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Bill 2022. These 3 important bills are aimed at improving the anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing proliferation financing framework in Nigeria.
Prohibition, the terrorism prevention, the process of crime prevention, recovery and forfeiture, I think. This is a very significant moment for the fight against corruption, or the anti-corruption fight by this administration led by President Muhammadu Buhari.
Well, first and foremost, let me congratulate all Nigerians for the signing of this bill by Mr. President. With the signing of this bill, it shows that Nigeria is now a par with all the relevant benchmarks set by the international community in terms of anti-money laundering legislation and prevention. Of course, it has also given us all the requisite provisions for non-conviction based for future as far as the process of crime management bill that was also signed by Mr. President. And specifically, I'm very happy and delighted, of course, to inform all Nigerians that with the passage of the new anti-money laundering bill, there is, of course, provision in there that domesticate the special control unit against money laundering, within the EFCC.
The Nigerian Army says it is making progress in addressing the nation's security challenges. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, said this at the opening ceremony of the 2022 Combat Arms Training Week in Jaji, Kaduna, northwest Nigeria. Lami Sadiq reports.
The Combined Combat Arms Training Week of the Nigerian Army Infantry Armored Corps is to explore alternative and more impactful method of boosting the operational effectiveness of the Nigerian Army.
As you are all aware, the Combat Arms Training Week is an annual training event organized to appraise the activities of the maneuver arms in their quest to achieve the mission of the Nigerian Army. The event has traditionally mustered distinguished serving and retired personnel of the maneuver arms, as well as other resource persons who have helped to conceptualize effective strategies for enhancing the capability and capacity of the Nigerian Army, especially in this era of heightened national security challenges.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, said, through effective training, proper planning and result-oriented employment of resources, the Nigerian Army is poised to defeat the nation's adversaries.
All the successes we are recording also across board are a reflection of our training. And we continue to improve on this training so that we can continue to improve also on our gains across the theaters of operation in whatever we do. I want to appreciate all the troops for all they are doing, and what we continue to do is to provide them with necessary skills and competencies, including also requisite equipment and other enablers in order to improve our competencies and our reach to addressing the security challenges.
The theme of the 2022 Combat Arms Training Week is Effective Combat Arms Maneuver, a panacea for success in battle. Lami Sadiq, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Kaduna State-based Reverend Father Joseph Akete Bako, who was kidnapped in March, has died in captivity. Commenting on his death, Chancellor Catholic Archdiocese of Kaduna, Reverend Father Christian Okeu Emmanuel, said the victim fell sick in captivity. He said the cleric died as his abductors did not allow him to take his drugs. Bako was abducted when gunmen invaded St. John Catholic Church, Kodenda, in Chikun local government area of the state on March 8, 2022. Catholic Archbishop of Kaduna, Most Reverend Matthew Ndagoso, extends his condolence to the bereaved family. Still on security matters, mobile police of 47 MPF squad operating along Galadima axis of Giwa local government area has arrested a councillor of Soba local government area, Abdul Adamu Kinkiba, with an AK-47 rifle. Sources report that the suspected councillor was arrested while carrying the rifle on a motorcycle on his way to Galadima. Abdul Adamu Kinkiba is a current councillor in Soba local government area of Kaduna State. In a telephone interview, the council chairman, Soba local government area, Engineer Suleiman Yahaya Richifa, confirmed that the suspect is the current councillor representing Kinkiba ward. Police authorities are reported to have taken the suspect to the Kaduna State Police Command for further interrogation.
To be honest, I don't know who I'm supposed to deliver it to. I don't even know his name. I was only told when I get to Galadima Junction, there's a bridge where I will stop and someone will pick it up from me.
Irrigation farmers in Ajua district of Batagara local government area of Katsina state could suffer great losses this season as a result of power outages and high cost of diesel and petrol. The epileptic power is compounded by very low voltage, which could hardly power generators to supply enough water to the crops. Abdullahi Ahmadi visited some irrigation sites at Ajua Dam and now reports.
Farmers here have planted crops such as wheat, rice, tomatoes, pepper, and other vegetables with high hopes of a bumper harvest. But since the beginning of the season, these hopes are fading away as a result of the epileptic power supply and the skyrocketing cost of diesel and petrol. We have incurred heavy losses because of the shortage of water. There is no diesel to power our generators to supply water to crops, which have now dried off. Farming at Ajua Dam is a year-round activity, a situation that guarantees food security, employment generation, and self-reliance. But these power interruptions are technically sacking majority of the farmers from their farms and businesses. I have lost a lot. Crops worth millions of naira have dried off. Rice, wheat, and tomatoes have dried off. I lost cassava worth about 3 million naira. In fact, we lost crops worth 20 million naira. This is how the farms looked when Trust Television visited some few weeks ago. The story is that of a barren land, empty and deserted. The farmers are confused about what to do or what will happen next, as most of them are indebted to banks, individuals, and other financial institutions. The only success story is to those who are fortunate to have their farms close to the dam or any water point good enough to have access to frequent water supply. I did not get anything this season. We have been having good time, but this year, due to water shortage, our rice, wheat, and other crops were destroyed. The manager, Ajia Water Works, has a different story other than what the farmers are saying.
Water treatment plant is being written, not irrigation. Only for treatment and human consumption and animal consumption, not for irrigation purpose. I can refer you to GVA and SAPK. That is where we have a water canal being constructed for irrigation. But in Ajua, we don't have that facilities here.
This unfortunate situation calls for early planning and implementation, as well as adequate support from the authorities concerned to avert a reoccurrence of this colossal waste. Abdullahi Ismail, Trust Television News, Katsina.
A Kano Upper Sharia Court sitting at Kofar Kudu has ordered the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria to provide legal representation for Abdul Jabbar Kabara. This followed the withdrawal of Abdul Jabbar's counsel, Ambali Obomile, from the ongoing blasphemy case. This is the third time counsels to the embattled cleric will quit the case following disagreement on mode of representation. Kabara has since June last year been arraigned by Kano State government over alleged case of blasphemous statements against the Prophet Muhammad capable of inciting public peace. The case has been adjourned to May 26th. A yet-to-be-identified student of Shehu Shagari College of Education, Sokoto, was on Thursday morning reportedly burnt to death for alleged blasphemy. The incident, according to eyewitnesses, occurred when some Muslim students who were angered by what they deemed blasphemous to Prophet Muhammad dragged her out of her hostel, beat her, and set her alight. In March last year, some angry youths in Sade community in Darazo local government area of Bauchi State burnt a man identified as Tale Mairua to death for allegedly insulting Prophet Muhammad. The trial of Chidinma Ojukwu, the alleged murder suspect of the Chief Executive Officer of Super TV, Usifo Ataga, before a Lagos High Court sitting at Tafawa Balewa Square was Thursday stalled due to change of third defendant's counsel. Ojukwu is standing trial bordering on murder, stealing and forgery alongside her sister Chioma Egbuchu and one Adedapo Quadri. At the resumed hearing of the trial on Thursday, the counsel to the third defendant, Mrs. J.I. Osegede, who stood in for Mr. O.A. Ogunsanya, informed the court that the Office of the Public Defender was no longer representing Chioma Egbuchu, the third defendant. She said that the third defendant, Chioma Egbuchu, had written them that she no longer needs their services. 3 persons were found dead and many others injured in an explosion in Kaba, the headquarters of Kaba Bunu local government area of Kogi State. An eyewitness said that the incident occurred at a beer parlor around Leu Junction, Kaba, on Wednesday around 9:45 p.m. The Kogi State Commissioner of Police, CP Edward Ebuka, who confirmed the incident, said that it was a gas explosion and not a bomb blast, as was being reported in some quarters. A statement by the Police Public Relations Officer of the State Command, SP William Ovie Aya, on behalf of the Commissioner, said that a lady was killed and many others injured. The statement added that the Commissioner has ordered an investigation into the incident to unravel the cause of the explosion and urged members of the public to go about their lawful business without fear. Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, is now to have 5 new urban expansion and satellite areas as part of its new 20 years master plan. This was disclosed at the public presentation of the draft master plan. Let's take a look at the report.
Kwara State was created in 1967 with Ilorin as the state's capital. It had its first master plan as the capital in 1976. The master plan expired 21 years ago, and the population of Ilorin keeps growing without commensurate planning. This explains why a new master plan to reposition the capital city for the next 21 years is now being finalized. At a public presentation to the draft, Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak says the master plan is necessary to drive physical development.
The role of the master plan is sustainable. In sustainable development cannot be overemphasized. It's what dictates the pattern of fiscal development in any society with serious consequences for sustainable living.
In the draft master plan, Ilorin, the capital city, is expected to have 5 new urban expansion and satellite areas in order to decongest the metropolis. This can only happen with the provision of necessary infrastructural facilities in the proposed satellite towns.
Since that time, we've discussed with the technical committee, and they recommended that we use a hybrid approach, a mixture between the satellite nodes and asymmetric expansion, some growth attached to the city and other growth outside in satellites.
The Ilorin Master Plan has been designed to improve the standard of living of the populace and make the city a tourist destination by making it more attractive to both local and foreign investors.
The new Ilorin Master Plan is expected to take care of the land use, transportation, solid waste management, power and economy, as well as other social infrastructure.
And now to business news. Chamung Dabeng has this put together.
Nigeria's gross domestic product GDP increased by 4.03% in the third quarter of 2021. This is according to the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS). The research showed that Nigeria's real GDP at basic prices increased by 4.03% year over year in the third quarter of 2021, indicating a sustained comeback from the economic crisis in 2020. The National Bureau of Statistics said that growth accelerated in the fourth quarter of 2021 with a positive GDP growth growth rate of 3.98%. In real terms, household consumption expenditure increased by 19.36% and 7.3% in Q3 and Q4 2021, respectively. The annual growth rate in actual household consumption expenditure for 2021 was 25.65%, up from negative 1.69% in 2020. Nigeria has collaborated with 13 of Africa's top economies and capital markets to build a unified platform for securities trading. The breakthrough is expected to improve the free movement of investments across the continent. South Africa, Egypt, Kenya, Mauritius, Casablanca, Benin, Burkina Faso, Guinea-Bissau, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, Niger, Senegal, and Togo are among the other nations engaging in the first phase of cross-border business. 4 exchanges, NGX, BRVM, CSE and EGX, have already been successfully connected to the Continental Trading Terminal Live environment, with the integration process for the remaining exchanges continuing. The African Exchanges Linkage Project, AELP, is a cross-border trading project that allows investors to access all Africa listed securities as well as all assets available to cross-border investors. Investors will be able to trade on Africa's most promising and profitable enterprises, as well as corporate and government bonds, exchange-traded funds, ETFs, and derivatives, where these are listed on participating exchanges and access is provided by the sponsoring stockbroker. Following the Nigerian Communications Commission's NTC's refusal to accept telecom operators' request for a 40% increase in the cost of voice calls, SMS, and data services, the operators have demanded a peer review of the floor pricing for telecom services delivery across networks. Benga Adebayo, chairman of the Association of Licensed Telecom Operators of Nigeria, ALTON, said the peer review was necessary because of the sharp increase in the cost of diesel from 220 naira per litre in January this year to 700 naira per litre now, which he said has had a negative impact on the running cost of telecom operations because telcos use diesel to power their base stations 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Adebayo said he was not shocked by NCC's rejection of telcos' request for an upward review of the cost of telecom service offerings, since telcos did not expect NCC to increase costs without knowing the tough constraints that operators face in delivering telecom services to the public. That's all for Business News. I am Chamun Dabeng.
Now, in a tragic incident, a Nigerian female pilot, Azuai Ewuga, has died in a plane crash in central Cameroon. The late pilot is the second daughter of Senator Solomon Ewuga, a stalwart of the People's Democratic Party in Nasarawa State and former Minister of State for FCT. The pilot reportedly died with 11 others on board a mini aircraft belonging to Caverton Aviation Cameroon when air traffic services lost radio contact, causing the plane to crash. Local Cameroon media reports that the aircraft was flying from Yaoundé Nsimalen Airport to Belabo in the east of the country when it crashed, killing all on board. Away from Nigeria, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and European Council President Charles Michel are in Japan for talks that have touched on Russia's invasion of Ukraine and growing concerns about China's role in Asia and beyond. The leaders on Thursday warned that Russia poses the most direct threat to the world order and urged China to play a more constructive role on the international stage as they held talks in Tokyo. The annual summit comes with much of the international community rallying to pressure Moscow over Ukraine. Von der Leyen said that the EU and Japan are stepping up cooperation, including launching a digital partnership that will focus on competitiveness and security. And in sports news, following the unending crisis that have plagued and nearly crippled basketball development in the country, President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday approved the immediate withdrawal of Nigeria from all international basketball competitions. The permanent secretary of the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, Ismaila Abubakar, who disclosed this in Abuja, said the withdrawal is for a period of 2 years. We'll now take some more updates put together by Adeni Ajishafe.
Semi-finalists have emerged in 2022 tennis championship played at MK Abiola Stadium on Thursday. In the men's singles quarter-final result, Henry Acheye edged Otu John 4-6, 6-3. Wisi Gbinovia won 6-3, 6-2 to beat Friday Gabriel, while Peter Lawal had a 6-1, 6-4 win against Shehu Lawal, and Babalola Abdulmumin defeated Michael Chuma 6-3, 7-5. Henry Acheye will face Wilson Gbinovia in the fourth semi-final, while Peter Lawal and Babalola Abdulmumin will face off. In the women's singles quarterfinals, Oyinlomo Quadri beat Yakubu Hunene 6-love, 6-1. Mary Love Edwards won 6-2, 6-1 against Favor Moses. Bamidele Omolayo thumped Stella Odukwelu 6-1, 6-2 as Anu Ayebusi beat Samuel Blessing 7-5, 6-3 in the last qualifying game. Quadri will square up against Mary Love Edwards in the fourth semis, while Ayebusi faces Bamidele in the second semis. Mary Love Edwards says she's happy to qualify for the semi-finals and also hope to get to the finals.
Very pleased with the way I played. I mean, definitely expecting more for myself to play better tennis. Yeah. Definitely I'll be playing Barakat in the semi-finals, so definitely a very good match and to win it by God's grace. They are trying. I mean, we need more tournaments. I mean, we really have about 4 or 5. I mean, we need more. Definitely, so they are trying in their own aspect.
Zuzu Chituru qualified for our 4 semi-finals in wheelchair tennis competition, defeating Immaculate Achinuhu 6-love, while Immaculate Trial says she's happy and called for support to develop wheelchair tennis in Nigeria.
Yes, I just finished playing my game. I won the game 3-0 and the person's crashed. We are lacking sponsors. That is where we are. Can you imagine last ITF that played a host in Nigeria, the top-seeded one from Kenya? I beat her 6-4, 6-3. Seeded one, 6-4, 6-3, and she's world number 64. So you can imagine that if I thought that Nigeria has people that sponsoring them, you will imagine our ranking will come up. And because we don't have anybody to sponsor us, we don't have sponsors. That's why we are where we are today.
That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
And with that, we wrap up the news hour on Trust Television. But remember, you can watch more by clicking the subscribe button on our YouTube channel and also following us across all social media platforms. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching.